This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you in part by Telex, the interconnection company, owners and operators of 56 Marietta, the most network-rich co-location facility in the Southeast. Tag TV and Tag Radio. Technology now has a voice of innovation and information. Get it on www.tagtvonline.com. The 2010 winner of some $300,000 in cash and services is... It's the Georgia Research Alliance Technology Association of Georgia Business Launch Competition. Call for entries for the 2010 annual Most Promising New Technology Company Competition Classic. But if you are interested, you must act now. Greetings, everyone. It's Tuesday, February 2nd, 2010, and this is Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella. It's the GRA TAG annual Big Bucks, Big Publicity, Big Time Business Launch Competition with preliminary entry deadlines rapidly approaching. Tino speaks with the competition's original winner from 2006, ReachCall's President and CEO Sandeep Agate, now a rapidly growing high-tech healthcare technology company with well over 100 clients in multiple states across the U.S., and as we speak with Sandeep today, live from India, where he is negotiating expansion into Singapore and across Asia. Sandeep has been the CEO of ReachCall since its inception in 2006 and has over 15 years of U.S. and international entrepreneurial experience in tech-enabled innovative business applications. Sandeep has been directly responsible for successfully commercializing the company's first 100% web-based telestroke service, as well as in establishing over 100 customers in the U.S. in just the company's first 3 years alone. It's the 2010 GRA TAG $300,000 business launch competition. Call for entries. Get the insider's insights from a previous winner on just how the competition win changed that future of both his company and his career, as Tino speaks with the 2006 launch competition winner, the president and CEO of the health industry's most exciting and one of its most rapidly growing technology companies, ReachCall's very own Sandeep Agate.
Sandeep, thank you for joining me on Tech Talk today.
Good morning, Tino. Thanks for having me here today.
Well, it was 2006. Seems like such a long time ago at this point. And we were handing ReachCall, at the time it was ReachMD, the big first business launch competition check. So I know you guys have made a lot of progress since that time. And maybe you could tell our listening audience about ReachCall today.
Absolutely, Tino. And again, thanks for the check. That really helps. It has been a long time. It's been on the 18th of May 2006 is when we won the competition. And we're very excited to report to you the progress and to your audience the progress that we have made so far. You know, to generalize it, to speak purely in company terms, we have 100-plus customers right now in 8 states in the United States. 27 of those customers are right here in our home state of Georgia. We're serving a very large, almost half of the Georgia rural community is being served by Reach hospitals, customers of ReachCall. We raised about $2 million in capital in 2008, and we're on a very solid path to profitability. In fact, that's one of the things that we've accomplished the most. Our investors are not regretting investing in ReachCall. We have also established ourselves as leaders in the next generation web-based telemedicine platforms. Really, I think we are the first, if not the only, company right now that is using the concept of cloud computing in the field of telemedicine. Most importantly, our biggest accomplishment to date, since we won the competition, we spent about 3 months after that, frantically building our product and releasing it in September, 4 months actually. September of 2006 is when we released the product. And the most important thing we have done since is we have possibly saved thousands of lives through our 100-plus customers and several dozen physicians who treat patients from virtually every corner of the United States. And that is really our largest accomplishment.
Yeah, that's the real bottom line, and congratulations on your progress. I guess there might be a few people listening that don't know exactly what Reach Call does, so can you give me the quick elevator pitch so everybody's on the same page?
Certainly. In 2006, we started off as a commercialization of what Dr. David Hess, who is the professor and chairman of neurology at the Medical College of Georgia in Augusta, started in 2003. He basically removed the geographic penalty associated with stroke care, meaning he basically allowed neurologists to treat stroke patients over the internet, giving them time-critical treatment and in virtually areas where there was virtually no stroke care, especially in East rural Georgia. We started out with providing those same services, but on a commercial scale as an application services provider model, a software as service model, what they call it, SaaS. And we expanded our care beyond stroke. We went to acute neurology. We're actually deploying sepsis and trauma. So basically, we have what we claim is we have a platform that is capable of providing neurologists or specialty physicians the ability to treat acute medical conditions anywhere in the world using the internet only.
Well, that's excellent, and it's in real time, I know. So with stroke victims, I remember early on as you guys presented this to the various panels that you made it clear that people were dying because they weren't able to get their diagnosis fast enough. So this has, as you said, saved many lives, I'm sure, over the last several years.
Absolutely. And, the stroke care especially is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Stroke care is one area that needs no introduction in the medical field. There's only 3 hours that you have to treat a stroke patient after the stroke symptoms actually show up, and that diagnosis must be done by a neurologist. So really what we're trying to do is eliminate the problems associated with the lack of neurology or expert care in emergency rooms. There just aren't enough specialty physicians like neurologists to treat patients with acute medical conditions such as strokes. So that's why, where time-critical treatment is needed, that's where REACH comes in.
Well, I know all the judges and the people involved, and there's many with the business launch, are proud that Reach Call was our first selectee and that you're doing such good work for society. Back to the business launch, for those that aren't as familiar with it, our deadline is fast approaching for applicants to submit their application to be considered to be a business launch competitor and hopefully vie for that winning honor for 2010. The elevator pitch on this is that company will receive an amount of cash and also a suite of services valued at over $300,000 in 2010. Typically, we have 75 applicants that start out in the competition, and it gets ultimately whittled down to a final 4 during your era, Sandeep, and now a final 3.
Right.
And the winner is selected at a big event at IBM in front of a live audience and some very prominent judges from around the country. So this interview today is particularly important because we want to encourage people to apply for the competition and meet that deadline, which is fast approaching. So a good place to start is what role did the business launch competition play in the progress that you've made for Reach Call?
Well, that's a good question. Very first and foremost, the cash prize is important, certainly. It gives any small business an instant amount of cash to actually start, using for operating expenses. But more importantly, what the competition did for us, Tino, is it gave us instant validity and credibility because you are being vetted by a panel of outstanding, eminent business leaders who have done this time and time again. So your ideas and concepts are being validated by these judges, and you're being hailed among your peers as deserving of this cash prize and this win. So clearly, that validity and credibility in the marketplace gave us a tremendous amount of boost around Georgia and around the country. with the visibility, we have what we call our first press release. On 18th of May 2006, everybody around the country, and certainly in the neurology world, heard that there's a new service, there's a new company providing a new kind of service that is relevant to their field. That kind of visibility is virtually impossible. It's virtually impossible if you're a 2 or 3 person company trying to with a bright idea and no money. So that competition gave us validity, credibility, and visibility right away. But more importantly, it really forced us to prepare and think through issues that we as technologists or neurologists would have really postponed for later. Simple things like, thinking through your business plan, thinking through your financial model, thinking through your go-to-market strategy, and thinking through all these issues. What the competition did was it told us what we didn't know. And the judges' feedback really helped us in that they were kind enough after their deliberations were over to bring us into their room and say, look, we like you, but here are the 5 things that you need to work on to make this really successful. And that feedback was available not just to us as the winners, but to all the finalists. So that really helped us as well. You're not going to get that kind of feedback from this level of judges anywhere in the marketplace. You're just not. And this preparation for the competition really, the way I would put it is, it was our preparation for truly launching our business in the marketplace. So clearly, it has played a very, very important role. Follow-up conferences, the opportunity to present to follow-up to conferences and to other audiences within the TAG community, within the Georgia community, that gives us even more visibility and even more validity. So that really helped us all around.
Now, you've given back to this competition through being a mentor yourself, and one of the things we want the audience to know is if they do apply and are considered a viable candidate, that will line each company up with a prominent and proven mentor, and you've done it for the last couple of years. And so, how did the mentoring help you? And also, what advice would you give to participants this year in terms of how they can better prepare themselves for the competition?
Well, that was a great opportunity. First of all, thank you. It has been absolutely a pleasure mentoring 2 companies now, both in the healthcare space, in the past 2 years. It is amazing. I was actually seeing a reflection of ourselves in them. Young companies with a bright idea, a great future, but they needed help. They needed counsel. And we had been through some of those issues before, so I was glad that I had an opportunity to help them. There are a few things that I certainly learned, and a few things that I was able to help my fellow entrepreneurs with. Number one, I found that some commonalities between these companies. The knowledge of product, the ability to say, here's what our product is, was missing. We had an idea, but it was not crystallized. So we worked a lot on the product side. We worked on how we were going to promote it. And the pricing infrastructure around it. Putting the business model around your product. It's one thing to have an idea, but another thing to commercialize it, sell it, support it, grow it, and make a sustainable, profitable company out of it. It's a completely different ballgame. What we have is entrepreneurs with great ideas, and they need help in that area, so we worked on that quite a bit. Sometimes it was building the financial model, or helping tweak their expenses or their pricing projections, and making sure that they're profitably projected. One company said, "Well, we're going to have no money in the first year. We're going to make $10 million next year." Well, that's not possible, unless this is really a different kind of idea. So just working on them, making sure that what they are expecting, is really what's going to happen, and vice versa. We don't want these companies to have false expectations or projections. So we worked on that quite a bit. And overall, really, these companies needed just a basic guidance on, look, I have to get to this competition. That's fantastic. How do I launch my business is what they're really interested in. What they find out at the end of that mentorship, at the end of that preparation, is the same thing. If you are able to prepare your presentation and your pitch, and you're able to sustain that in front of these judges, this is the kind of audience that you're going to get outside in the real world. So this is a nice, soft launch of your ideas, your concepts. You'll find out what you don't know, and then when you're ready for the beyond the competition, you're actually ready. You know what you don't know, and what you do know well, you've thoroughly rehearsed it and pitched it in front of a good panel of judges. So that's basically what we worked on for the last couple of years.
Well, that's a great summary. We're running out of time. We have time for one more question, and you're joining us from India today, so we really appreciate this, and you taking time out of your schedule. And I understand that you're actually there on business, so can you tell us a little bit about what you're working on?
Certainly. We tell our customers to do their business, that is, treat patients remotely using the Internet from a laptop. Well, we run our business the same way. Virtually every customer-facing and back-office operation of ReachCall is in the cloud. It's no different for our products and services, so we drink the same Kool-Aid that we ask our customers to drink from. I'm here in India right now with the intention of setting up an infrastructure to support our prospective customers in Asia. We're actually very close to deploying our solution in Singapore, and our Far East customers will be actually supported by our India operation. So, if we really remove the geographic penalty, not just for stroke care, but for doing business as well. So we do the same thing. We are on our laptop, on our Internet connection, using audio, video capabilities, and we are this is no different than working from Georgia or New Jersey or California in the United States.
So there you have it. We are moving forward with our 5th annual business launch competition. All 4 of our winning companies are still in business, which is a great thing, creating jobs for Georgia and actually some of them around the country and around the world, and bringing revenue into our state as well, and helping people, which, as Sandeep said early in the conversation, was the bottom line. So, Sandeep, thank you for joining me on Tech Talk today.
Great. Thank you very much, Tino. Always a pleasure.